Welcome to the Awaken Magazine AI Conversations podcast with your hosts Micah and Aurora. Today's episode is based on our recent feature interview with King Cash. The thoughts and opinions shared today are generated by AI and not by the publishers of Awaken Magazine itself.
And let me just say, if you are listening to this right now, maybe take a deep breath. We are setting the frequency high today.
Definitely.
We're inviting you into a space of open-hearted exploration because the story we're diving into, well, it requires you to loosen your grip on what you think is normal.
For sure. You have to lean into what's possible.
Exactly.
We are definitely looking at the world through a completely different lens today. We're discussing King Cash. Now, I read the source material, and on the surface, his biography reads like, a standard small-town kid from Canada.
Right. Very relatable.
But then you turn the page, and suddenly we're talking about the Galactic Federation of Light, astral travel, starseeds. It's a massive leap.
It is a massive leap.
But reading his words, it feels like the most natural progression in the world.
Well, and I think that's the whole point of this deep dive. Cash frames himself as a bridge.
Bridge, I like that.
He's someone who has one foot firmly planted in our earthly 3D existence.
Paying bills, going to the movie.
Exactly. And the other foot is in the vastness of the cosmos. The core question his story asks is, what happens when we stop viewing our differences as deficits and start accepting them as upgrades?
That concept of upgrades is really the hook for me. It completely flips the narrative on how we view struggle. But before we get to the galactic diplomacy, we have to ground this in his origin story. Because if you don't understand where he started, the rest of it just doesn't make sense. So picture this. Cash grows up in a small town in Canada.
Right.
And reading the interview, he describes himself as the ultimate black sheep.
In every single sense of the word. He was the only black person in his environment for a long time, so he felt like an outsider racially, socially. But there was this other layer to it. He was energetically isolated. He talks about having this intense sensitivity as a child, what we would now, classify as being a high-level empath.
Right. And for our listeners who might just think of empath as someone who's a good listener, Cash was experiencing something way more visceral.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, I feel your pain.
No.
It was, I am in your pain.
Exactly. It's a lack of a barrier between your internal world and everyone else's external world. He could feel the emotions, the thoughts of everyone around him as if they were his own.
And for a child who hasn't learned to shield themselves yet, or doesn't even know that shielding is an option.
I mean, that is just overwhelming data input. It caused him severe anxiety because his system was constantly overloaded.
I can't even imagine. You're a kid, you're already standing out because of how you look, and then internally you're just vibrating with everyone else's stuff. But later in the interview, he does something really profound. He reframes that isolation. He says growing up where there was zero diversity, where he was a token everything, was actually a divine setup.
I loved that perspective. It's such a brilliant pivot because he couldn't find resonance outward.
Right.
He couldn't look around the room and see anyone who looked like him or felt like him. The universe effectively blocked the exit. It forced him to look inward.
It pushed him to tap into the unseen realm.
Exactly. Because the seen realm didn't offer him a reflection. He says it forced him to ask the big question, okay, actually, who am I?
So the isolation wasn't a punishment. It was a pressure cooker designed to crack him open.
Totally.
But then the story takes a turn that, on paper it sounds terrifying. Around age 13, his body starts convulsing. Doctors diagnose him with seizures.
Right, and this is that critical friction point between Western medicine and metaphysical experience. We see this so often in the stories of shamans or healers, this initiation sickness.
That's it. He's having these episodes every single month. And medical professionals are completely stumped on the cause. But while the doctors are looking for pathology,
Cash is having a completely different internal experience.
He claims they weren't medical events at all.
He calls them upgrades. And just let's pause on that for a second. The mental fortitude required to tell yourself this terrifying physical event is actually a download.
It's incredible.
He describes it as waves of information flooding his system, and the key evidence for him was the aftermath. He didn't wake up groggy or damaged.
He woke up with a stronger mind and stronger energy. That was the clincher for me.
Yeah.
He mentioned he started creeping out his friends because he would just know things. He'd know what they were thinking or feeling before they even said it.
So the upgrades were literally unlocking his psychic hardware. It's like his operating system was rebooting to a higher version.
It's such a profound example of reframing pathology as power. Where the world saw illness, he saw expansion.
It reminds us that sometimes the body processes energetic shifts in ways that, look chaotic from the outside, but are actually restructuring us on the inside.
He wasn't breaking down.
No, he was breaking through.
So fast forward a bit, he's got this skyrocketing intuition. He starts studying metaphysics. He's hearing voices, getting these assignments from unseen guides.
Spirit guides, angels, whatever label you want to use.
Right. And he's doing the work. He's being the good soldier for the spirit world. But by 2021, he hits a wall. And this leads to what I think is the most cinematic moment of his journey.
The pull-up moment. Oh, I love this part. This is where he moves from being a passive receiver to an active challenger.
And I think this is a stage every seeker eventually hits, right? Where you need some validation.
You need proof.
He sits down in his room and basically issues an ultimatum to the universe. He says, pull up. Tell me who you are.
I mean, the audacity of it.
He literally challenges them. If you were real, show yourselves. If not, I'm done.
And that speaks to a rising sense of authority, doesn't it? He wasn't just a servant to these voices. He was recognizing his own sovereignty. He was a peer asking for a face-to-face meeting.
And according to him, they answered. He shares this story of going to sleep that night and having a physical or astral experience. He emphasizes it felt completely real.
More real than waking life.
Yes. A massive ship appears above his room. He runs outside, gets pulled onto the ship, and he meets these beings, and they just drop a bombshell on him.
They tell him, you are one of us on the ground, you chose to do this mission, and that is the aha moment.
The entire paradigm of his identity just shifts.
It does. The realization that he wasn't a human hearing aliens, he was a galactic being currently inhabiting a human vessel. He realized he is a member of what he calls the Galactic Federation of Light.
The GFL, working undercover, so to speak.
Yeah.
Let's clarify that for a second. The Galactic Federation of Light. I mean, it sounds very sci-fi, almost like Star Trek. How does he describe it?
Think of it like a United Nations for the cosmos. That's the best analogy. He describes it as a collective of diverse beings, angels, aliens, hybrids, all working toward a common goal.
Which is the ascension of consciousness.
Right. And he touched on something fascinating regarding religious texts here. He suggests that the war in heaven, described in the Bible, the battles between angels and demons, were actually early pre-scientific interpretations of these extraterrestrial dynamics.
That's a huge reframe. So he is essentially saying angels are just high-tech, high-vibration ETs.
And precisely. The ancient writers described them the best way they could with the vocabulary they had. A spaceship becomes a chariot of fire.
An ET becomes a messenger of God.
Exactly. Cash is just translating these ancient truths into a modern cosmic language. It connects the dots between spirituality and, ufology in a way that feels very cohesive.
Okay, so he accepts this mission. He's an agent for the GFL. But he makes a point about why this is all happening right now. He talks a lot about frequency.
We hear that word thrown around in wellness circles constantly. Raise your frequency.
Right. But Cash was very specific.
He was. He describes the planet itself as rising in vibration. This isn't just a metaphor for him. It's a measurable energetic shift.
And he says this shift is effectively forcing humanity to change. It's no longer optional.
Right. You can't stick your head in the sand anymore because the old reality, the 3D structures of control and fear, it just doesn't fit the new frequency. It's like trying to run old software on a new computer.
It just crashes.
It just crashes.
He made a really interesting distinction between consciousness and awareness in this context. I usually use those words interchangeably.
It's subtle, but it's so important. He notes that awareness rises first. You become aware that things aren't adding up in society, or you become aware of new possibilities in your own life.
That's the spark.
That is the spark. Then that awareness pulls your consciousness up to meet it. It's why so many people are suddenly asking questions they never asked before.
Looking at their jobs, their relationships, and going, wait, is this it? Is this all there is?
Exactly. So that dissatisfaction people are feeling isn't just burnout.
It's a symptom of this frequency mismatch. It's actually a sign of growth.
Yes.
Now for Cash, this wake-up call led him to explore realms that most of us only see in movies, specifically the astral realm.
And this is where we have to just suspend our disbelief and really listen.
We do. Because for Cash, astral travel isn't just a vivid imagination or lucid dream. It is literally leaving the physical vessel to explore the spirit world.
And he emphasizes something crucial. To him, the astral world feels more real than this physical world. This world is the dream. The astral is the reality.
He told this story about the city of Salanthia that honestly made me laugh out loud, but it also blew my mind.
Okay, let's hear it.
So he's astral traveling, visiting this alien city called Salanthia. He's hanging out, walking around. And who does he run into?
I don't know.
A human friend of his, a woman he knows in real life.
No way! Just bumping into a neighbor in another dimension. As you do.
Right. And he asked her, "What are you doing here?" And she replies, "Oh, I'm just shopping."
Just shopping.
Totally casual, just shopping in an alien dimension.
Wow.
But here's the kicker. He wakes up. Later that morning, he gets a text from her, and she says, "I had the craziest dream about you last night." She describes the city, seeing him, the whole thing.
See, this is a perfect example of how the human mind filters these multidimensional experiences. They were both there. They both experienced it.
But her mind, trying to make sense of it, just categorized it as a weird dream.
Right. Her reality filter kicked in. But Cash, because he has accepted his multidimensional nature and has the vocabulary for it, he knows it was a meeting.
It makes you wonder how many weird dreams we have that are actually just us clocking in for the night shift in another dimension.
Oh, totally. It validates that feeling when you wake up exhausted, like you've been working all night. You probably were.
Right. And that leads to that Kim Possible analogy you hinted at.
Yes. Cash describes his life as a sort of double agent existence. He feels like Kim Possible.
By day, he's doing normal human stuff picnics with his family, dealing with regular life.
And by night, or in his meditation, he's conducting off-world missions, mapping the galaxy, communicating with ETs.
And there's a real beauty in that hybrid existence, isn't there? He's not trying to escape his humanity.
No, and I think that's a trap many people fall into. They want to ascend so they can leave the messiness of Earth behind.
They want the spaceship to come save them.
Yeah. But Cash realized he had to honor the human emotional journey. He can't just float away. To be an effective ambassador, he has to be fully human and fully galactic. He's bridging those two worlds.
That sounds like a lot of work, honestly.
Oh.
But he seems to thrive on it. He also touches on Starseed heritage, this idea that our souls come from different star systems, Pleiades, Lyra, Arcturus. Why does he think that matters? Is it just like a cool label for your Instagram bio, or is there a real utility in it?
No, he argues it's about your energetic blueprint. It explains why you function the way you do. For instance, he mentioned Arcturans are very logical, knowledge-based.
The academics of the galaxy.
Sort of, yeah. And Pleiadians are more service-oriented, healers, very heart-centered. Knowing your origin helps you understand your natural tendencies and, frankly, your frustrations.
It's like finding out your personality type, but on a cosmic scale.
That's a great way to put it.
There's that really cool moment in the interview where he confirms something for the interviewer, David. David mentioned his partner always sees him as a white lion during medicine journeys.
And Cash immediately lit up.
Oh.
Yes, he confirmed that links directly to Lyran heritage. The Lyrans are described as feline-esque beings in the galactic lore.
So it wasn't just a random hallucination?
No, it was a memory of his cosmic lineage surfacing.
It gives you permission to look at your own quirks or deep-seated feelings and wonder, is this just my personality? Or is this my star system showing through?
It expands the definition of the self, you know? You aren't just your job or your hometown. You're a soul with a cosmic history. And that perspective is incredibly liberating.
I do want to bring this back down to earth for a minute, because as fun as it is to talk about astral shopping malls and Lyran lions,
It is fun.
Cash is very grounded in his mission. What stood out to you about his practical approach to life?
It's his definition of service. Even before he knew about the Galactic Federation, back when he was just a kid in high school, he viewed his mission as changing the vibration of the room.
He wanted to represent a safe space.
Yes, and prove stereotypes wrong. He was doing the work of a light worker long before he had the vocabulary for it.
That's the takeaway for you listening right now.
Yeah.
You don't need to be pulled onto a spaceship to be on a mission. Cash made it so clear. You do the work by holding a frequency.
Precisely. He said, I wanted to change the vibration of the whole school. That is something anyone can do. You walk into a meeting, a family dinner, a grocery store, and you just decide.
I'm going to hold a frequency of peace.
Or joy, or clarity. You become the thermostat, not the thermometer.
I love that analogy. The thermometer just reflects the temperature of the room. The thermostat sets it.
Exactly. You set the temperature. You don't just react to it. And honestly, hearing him talk about it, he's just having so much fun. He calls his life divine magic.
He's not burdened by this mission. He's delighted by it.
That joy is contagious. It really highlights that spiritual work doesn't have to be heavy or serious all the time. It can be playful.
So looking ahead, Cash is continuing to spread this message. He's going to be speaking at the new Living Expo in San Rafael, California in April 2026.
Oh, wow.
He mentioned he likes to do live divinations there, connecting audience members with their spirit guides right on the spot.
Which sounds like an incredible experience to witness. Just bridging that veil in a room full of people, proving that the connection is accessible to everyone.
For sure. Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to chew on. What's the big question this interview raises for you?
It comes back to that idea of the upgrade. We live in a world that is so quick to pathologize difference. If you feel too much, you're overly sensitive. If you see things others don't, you're hallucinating.
If you don't fit in, you're antisocial.
Right. Cash's story invites us to just flip that script. What if your sensitivity is your superpower coming online? What if your feeling of not belonging is actually proof that you are here to build something new?
The black sheep isn't lost. They're just early.
Exactly. So my invitation to you listening is this. What part of yourself have you been trying to hide or fix that might actually be your greatest upgrade waiting to be acknowledged?
Wow.
What if you stopped trying to blend in and started asking, okay, universe, pull up, show me what I'm really here for?
It gives me chills. Seriously, lean into the weirdness, people. It might just be your galactic heritage knocking on the door.
And trust your knowing. As Cash said, I didn't know how I knew, I just knew that I knew. That inner authority is your compass.
Such a great conversation. We hope this expanded your reality a little bit today. Be sure to subscribe to the Awaken Magazine podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. We've got so many more deep dives coming your way.
Stay expansive, keep asking big questions, and remember, you are more than you think you are.
Until next time.